I'm Christine. Welcome to the Recovering Perfectionist podcast, where I empower you to develop sustainable habits, challenge society, and take messy action. It's time to align with the universe for the full human experience and redefine what it really means to be successful.
It's too good, the secret is out and wow.
Welcome back to the Recovering Perfectionist podcast, the official podcast of the dance wellness community, and I am here with the fabulous Nina Fisher.
Stop.
We just met, and I feel like I've known you forever.
I know, I have the same feeling with you.
It's incredible. I mean, literally, we've known each other maybe, a few months?
Since Hawaii, which was September?
Yeah.
But I had that feeling with you when you reached out and messaged me the first time. I was like, okay, I like her energy. She's positive.
Amazing. You have touched so many people's lives with your story. We're going to get into it because for those of you who don't know, Nina has just joined our beautiful ballroom community, and but you're not just joining. You are head first. All the things,
yes.
Checking off all the lists. You are taking this to a top tier level and doing it honestly the way it should be done. But not everybody can do it in this way. And you're documenting your entire journey.
I think everyone can do it this way.
I agree.
If you truly want it, you can do it.
Yes, it's the goals. But I think, but what's so cool is you're documenting your whole journey. Not just, oh, hey, we did a competition last week, here's a reel. It's no, here I am at 4 o'clock in the morning on the floor.
Yes.
Dancing and practicing without my coach, and here I am, overcoming an injury, and here I am on the plane going to my next competition, and you're really giving us an insight as to what it feels like to be a ballroom dancer.
Yes, and that's kind of also my whole point, I think, at this point, to show people what really happens, behind closed doors, from practicing, injuries, the good, the bad, the ugly, everything in between.
Yeah. Because there's a lot of in between that we don't
a
see.
Lot, yeah, and I feel like people know, and I'm talking about people that don't dance, that don't do ballroom dancing. They know, I think, of ballroom dancing primarily through or because of Dancing with the Stars.
Right. That's usually how I have to introduce myself.
Yeah.
Oh, hi, I'm a ballroom dancer. Also, I live in Vegas, so I'm a ballroom dancer, not just a dancer.
Not just a dancer.
And then also, they're like, oh, really? And they don't quite know what to ask next. And I go, have you ever seen Dancing with the Stars? And they go, yeah. And I'm like,
that's how you have to introduce it. Yes.
That's what we do.
So I think people know what it is.
Yeah.
But they don't really know or understand what really happens behind closed doors. The amount of work that goes into.
I was going to say what it takes to really call yourself a ballroom dancer.
To dance like that.
Yes.
But also the people you meet, the friendships you make. The joy you get from just dancing, going to even socials at your studio or other studios, and traveling for competitions. That's my new.
I know, that's the new high.
That's the new high.
Super relatable what you said the other day on social media. You were like, hang on, has anyone experienced this? You go to a competition, you practice, you do all the thing, you've got all the lights and the glam and the hair and makeup and everything, and then you get on the airplane and then you have competition withdrawal.
Yeah.
100%.
Yes.
I knew I was going to see you. That's what I was going to tell you in person. 100%. This used to happen when I was in my teenage years. I would go to West Coast swing competitions, and it was this high. It was like going to summer camp every weekend with all your best friends and sharing a room and competing and dancing till 2 o'clock in the morning because they have social dancing in West Coast swing competitions. And then 3 or 4 days later after
it just hits you. And that's the thing. God. It doesn't happen right after.
No, it doesn't. You're still
I'm
that
still
kick.
In that bubble. I remember I had it obviously from the Hawaii competition, but Ohio was even bigger. Maybe because the competition was so big, there was so many
pressure,
people, more pressure. And I woke up the next day on Sunday and I was a whole new level. I was like, wow. And on top of that, I won, and I still tried to understand what it meant because I started getting so many messages, so many DMs from people that know what it is or what it takes, from a lot of pro dancers.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh, so this is actually a big deal. And people were like, Nina, you don't understand what just happened. You won Ohio. I'm like, yeah, but it's just another competition. And I was.
Well, because you haven't grown up with Ohio being your.
So I don't have that understanding.
Exactly.
But anyway.
But I also think that there's kind of a blessing behind that as well, because I think our dancers growing up with Ohio or Blackpool or all these things being
Expectations.
so full of pressure that when they go to these competitions, they're honored to be on the floor, and it's just like a whole surreal experience. But then they put so much pressure on themselves. Sometimes that can affect their dancing, and then they are disappointed in themselves.
I think it affect more than just dancing.
Totally.
Yeah.
And so I think what the cool part about what is you didn't grow up in this industry, and so you are really experiencing everything
as an adult.
Honestly,
and it's confusing.
It is.
But yeah,
I think you're navigating it with so much grace, honestly.
No, I got home because I got a lot of DMs actually about that post.
Yeah.
People sharing their stories, but also
Sure.
people encouraging me and telling me that it's totally normal and it's
Yep.
part of the journey. But 3 days, I think, and for 3 days when I got home, I was like in this bubble, still with, I heard the music, the calm music, and I was still like in that whole like,
Totally.
And then I wake up, the next, 3 days later, I woke up and I felt just terrible. And I wanted to cry, and I'm like, why am I like this? Like, everything is great,
nothing
I
changed
just
between
want
yesterday
this
and
big
today.
competition, my phone, I get all these messages about why do I feel this way, and I couldn't figure it out. And I just felt down, and I felt like emotional and sad, and then suddenly I was like, so now what?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, so that's why I feel
That's
this
why.
way. And I didn't know.
You work so hard for this moment.
Yeah.
Whether that moment be Ohio, whether it be Blackpool,
Whatever
whether it be a
competition is.
local competition.
Yeah.
You work so hard for these moments, and the idea is to have as many of them as possible. But yes, you get to this point where it's happening, and it's happened, and you did great, and you won, and then you come off and you're like, wait, but what does that mean now?
Well, yeah. I think it's also I feel this intense adrenaline, and it's not me being nervous. I'm still not nervous.
Right.
I should be, but when I entered that room, my husband can tell you, I think there's maybe a video of that, when we just entered the ballroom, 2 days before I competed even, I started crying.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, oh my God, I just
So
get
much
this
emotion.
wave of,
Yeah.
you probably know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And then the day that I had to compete, when they called our heats, I walked and I was like, it's like a shock, something just hits me.
Yeah.
It's just, and something takes over, and I don't know, and then that feeling goes away, after a few days, and that's when I feel this emptiness. I'm like, what is this? How do I handle this? What do I do?
You just keep dancing.
Well, to be honest with you, we arrived, whatever day that was, I think Monday, I don't remember what day we arrived. We arrived Monday late. Tuesday I was in the studio.
Yeah.
And it's
I
I need. And then when my coach told me he's going away, or they're going away for Christmas, I almost had a heart attack. I'm like, what am I going to do?
Right. Working towards the next
What am I going to do when you're gone for 10 days?
Yes.
But yeah.
So needless to say, you've caught the dancing bug, which is incredible.
Yes.
I mean, honestly, what better thing to be healthier, to be addicted
I think so,
to,
yes.
right? This is a great addiction to have. It can be kind of pricey, as some say, but also worth it in the goals that you're setting.
But actually, I want to say something about that.
Yeah, talk to us about that.
So I started recently getting some comments where people are saying, well, this is only for the wealthy, let's say, and people are unhappy. And I said, well, sure, this is not a cheap sport, but there's so many other sports that are not cheap. We have to pay for lessons and whatnot, competitions. That's the same everywhere. But you can make, I don't want to say cheaper, but if you take one private lesson that costs whatever amount that it costs you, if you put in at least 2 hours extra by yourself of practicing in that 1 hour that you just took, you get so much more out of that 1 hour.
Especially when you do it very quickly after, when it's fresh in the brain. Yeah.
And so that's what I do. I do a little bit maybe obscene, I do 4 hours for every hour of private, sometimes 5. But you get so much more out of that 1 hour that you pay good money for, sure, but you get a lot of information. But if you then go and practice for at least 2 hours,
totally,
and you learn and you practice what you've been taught, and then you go back to your instructor instead of going and redoing again what you did last class, and maybe you didn't do, you didn't learn much. Now you go back and say, okay, I've practiced this is where I'm stuck, help me for that's how you can progress. And it's worth, how do I say it, it's
Well,
you get more out of
yes,
your.
I was going to say you get
buck.
more bang for your buck.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, so just to go back, we have had obviously some interviews. As I just got to meet your lovely husband, who is doing all the BTS, which I love.
He's like the vibe of ballroom.
I love it. Always good to. I mean, as you can tell, my husband does all the camera work, so it's always good to have the team together. So to have the support of your husband, I'm sure has been just incredible. Right? What does that mean for him to, I mean, you decided, because for those of you who have not seen the initial interviews, we'll link everything, but you decided one day, you saw a video of our beloved Nino that we adore, and you said, this is what I want to do. And you proposed this idea to your husband. What did he say?
He says, he actually booked 3 lessons. They were kind of like social dancing it was around Valentine's, I think.
For the two of you.
For the 2 of us to do,
Love
yes. And then
Great way to get into it.
And it was so nice and it was fun, but I'm like, that's not it though. That's not what she does. That's not what Nino did in that video. I'm like, what is she that she do? And that's how I discovered Pro-Am.
Love it, Pro-Am, yes,
Yeah.
which is an incredible thing about our industry. It is truly one of the only industries where the coach actually dances with the students.
Yes.
Because in other industries they don't.
They make us look better.
Yeah, well, but it's really cool because you actually get to have a teammate with you.
Yeah.
I think it's really exciting. When you're on, like in soccer or in gymnastics or anything like that, you're being coached from the sidelines, and maybe you have team members like on a soccer team, but you're not actually like, paired with that person.
Yes.
I think there's something so unique about ballroom dancing that just
is.
creates, like you said, that community you're talking about, that intimacy with sharing our feelings through movement which is so beautiful. So we did Hawaii Star Ball. That was when we met for the first time, and I was like, we have to talk, especially at Hawaii. Hawaii holds a special place in our heart because we love David Alvarez, and it's
my heart too. David was the first person I heard screaming Nino as I started my heat without knowing who that was, and I'm like, nobody knows me. Maybe it's another Nino. And then he ran up to me.
Oh my
God. I saw him again in Ohio,
that.
and we had a whole conversation. And he said to me, you'll always be that one special person to me. I don't know why, and I said, David, the feeling is mutual because your competition was my very first competition, my very first experience. But you were the first person that I heard as a support person.
Oh my God, I have chills.
And then you ran up to me, and I didn't even know who he was.
Right.
And so he said a couple of nice things to me, and he went away. And I asked my coach Slava, I said, who was this nice man? And he looks at me, he goes like, that's the organizer of how. I'm like, what? How does he know me? From Instagram.
Well, from Instagram, but also he's one of those people that gets to know who's attending his event. We've, throughout our social media journey with Hawaii Star Ball and with David through his competitions, we've all worked together to help these competitions grow. And David and I have seen the growth, and we've seen the VIP package holders grow, and we've seen the camaraderie that's come from that. And so he's always been that person that wants to make every experience beautiful and wants to give everyone a personal hug and a personal touch, and that's why we love David so much. He's very special. So for that to be your first comp already was like, whoa, amazing. And we did a wonderful interview that night where you just looked like Jennifer Lopez times 10. It was amazing. And then what was incredible is you competed for Best of the Best at Hawaii, and you won, which was already like, whoa. First competition right out the gate. You were against some really strong ladies. I mean, some women that had been dancing.
I have no idea what happened.
I know.
Because I was so out there.
Well, that's it. You were focused on what you were focused on.
Yeah, so I can't,
important.
I don't even know. I had to look through videos to see who else was on the floor.
Right. No, but that's good because that's what I'm telling you. Is kind of like what they say is like, ignorant is bliss. Yeah. You're kind of living in that bubble right now, which is very interesting because the people who have, and not everyone grew up in ballroom dancing. Like the pro-ams, like they come in at different times in their life. So they all say, "Gosh, I wish I was started young, younger." But they have a lot of them have been dancing for a very long time. They move up in categories. They do different things. They do gold, silver, gold stuff, and they're trying to accomplish certain things, especially if you're doing it long term and you're doing it for many competitions a year. So Best of the Best in Ohio, Blackpool, Pro-Am, all these different things, those are goals for a lot of the women, especially in your age category. I think that's the thing, is your age category is those are the women that feel, I'm still young enough to do this, but I'm older than I didn't start from birth, you know? And so they had this kind of like, they want to prove it, but they can. Physically, there's some incredible women in your age category that are really killing it out there. And they have great leaders and great coaches. So you get to go to Ohio, right? Because so now it's like your journey is unfolding itself a little bit at it because you're like, where are we going next? Oh, well, I guess it's Ohio.
Yes, that's kind of how it went. My coach just set up my schedule for comms, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's fine. Like, he knows what he's doing.
Right, because you have to trust.
I have to trust them.
If you're going to hire someone to guide you on this journey, you have to trust that they know what they're doing. So shout out to your coaches, please, because they are clearly
Slava is the best.
Yes, incredible. I mean, clearly he's doing a wonderful job with you, and his wife as well. You know, it's teamwork. So you go to Ohio, and you are now. This is a much bigger situation than Hawaii, right? Hawaii was the full experience of the ball and dance competition, but this is really like you're getting into competitive things, and so do you know how many people were in your category?
I heard a lot. I don't know.
Because it had to be, because you did multiple rounds.
Yeah, rounds, semifinals, finals.
Right.
I mean, I don't know. Sounds ridiculous.
No,
But I was so in my zone, and everything was so big, and there were so many people, and then we had the split ballroom that I had no idea what was. I'm like, what's happening?
Yes.
That there was someone coming out with like a sheet, and they were putting numbers up, and I'm like, what is all that? But I was trying to recover and basically not pass out during these rounds because I was trying to give it my all.
Right.
But also,
the stamina.
I mean, yeah.
Right, but not just the
I'm
stamina.
not there
but
yet,
also, well, no. First of all, you look amazing. Because let's not forget. I'm not trying to just give you compliments and blow smoke. Like truthfully, you came into this industry like you had already been in it for a very long time, based on how you look and also your discipline. Because I think that's the thing, is like looks are one thing, and you're in shape, you clearly work out, all these things, and you clearly did that before. But your discipline in life, before this you were a lawyer. You said.
I'm still a lawyer.
You're still a lawyer.
Yes.
I mean, two totally different paths. I mean, like, you know what I'm saying? So what's so cool is that to be able to go from what you're doing to doing this at the level that you're doing it at, and your learning curve seems smaller because you're fitting into everything well, you look the part, you are trusting your coaches, you're in your zone. Correct. And you're really trying to be focused on that, and I think that's an incredible space to be in. So Ohio.
Okay.
Keep going. Tell me.
I mean, I was lost. I didn't know. I had this incredible feeling. I was hoping, but I tried to be realistic, but I'm delusional. I set high expectations. I was hoping to make finals, and I'm like, maybe there's a chance. But then I also hear, from people that, Ohio is this big competition. People have been dancing, competing for at least 2-3 years at your level to even make it to Ohio, to make it to finals. So I was like, okay, but you are delusional. You train like a delusional person, so maybe you can make finals. Yeah. I don't know what was happening. My coach Slava just told me, "Oh, we're going back," and I'm like, "Okay," so just following him blindly.
That's it.
And I remember a couple that, they were. I got thrown off because we were doing the jive, and they were standing there because I know them, and I'm like, "Why are they not on the floor?" And I was like, "Okay, just keep dancing." So we got on the floor, and I'm like, "Why were they not?" dancing. And so he explained to me, he's like, "Oh, they didn't make it to finals." I'm like, "Oh, we're in finals? Oh, what?" Like everything was just, I was kind of lost. But then, so that was like for singles finals. But then when we made finals for, what was it, championship or scholarship?
Yes.
And they put us in the back, and I asked him, "What's happening now? Why are we here?" Because we had to line up elsewhere. And I'm like, "What's happening?" He goes like, "Well, we made it to finals." I'm like, "Finals?" But we had already several finals, like rounds. He goes like, "No, for scholarship or championship. Scholarship."
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, "What? I made finals? Okay, Slava, what do I do? Do I go like full out now? Like, what do I do?
Just keep doing.
Because now I'm thinking there was a chance maybe I can get to top 3, because that was like my next thing.
Yes.
Never in a million years did I think first place.
Wow.
Top 3, because I'm like, all these people have been training for several years, been coming to Ohio.
Right.
I'm a total newbie. No experience. So I'm like, fake it till you make it kind of thing. And I'm like, top 3. So Slava goes, "No." He's like, "Don't overdo it. Just dance the way you dance."
That's it.
Period.
Yeah.
And the feeling when they call my name or my number walking down that stairs.
Oh my god.
Oh, you know what I'm talking
I do.
about.
Chills.
I was like,
chills.
I'm like this huge like ballroom and the
Yeah.
people and the cameras, and I'm like, I'm here. This is like
Yes.
I cannot explain it. And so we were done before I knew it, and we lined up, and suddenly I had this feeling of insecurities, fear, but excitement, like a mix of emotions. And they started calling the first number. I think it was like 8th place, if I remember correctly.
Mhm.
And all I knew was our number. I think we were 220. And I hear a different number, and I go, and then
Right.
7th place.
Because you don't want your number to be called.
I don't want my number to be called. And so by the time we made it to top 3, I'm shaking. And so I hear 4th place, and it's not us. And I'm like, and you can
Oh
see
my
in
God.
videos, I've posted that, where thank God to my husband that he captured that.
Yes.
That you could, because I could see my like actual raw emotion. And then
So good.
when they called runner up, and I said, oh my God, when I knew I was in 3rd place, and I'm like, wait, runner up, like 2nd? First? I'm like, so many things went through my head.
Oh my God.
And Slava looked at me, and he held my hand. He goes like, we got it. And I was like, no, I shaking. I was shaking.
Oh my God.
And then they call 2nd place, runner up, or I think they call it runner up.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Vice champion.
And I hear a number that starts with like either 1 or 3. It wasn't 2.
Oh my God.
And I couldn't hold it together.
Oh, I would
couldn't
burst
hold it
into
together. And
tears.
I hear someone in the back saying, oh my God, she can't even hold it together. And I had to like walk, like I couldn't do like a bow, nothing. We just
Wow.
walked over there, got the prize, and we stood in
Oh
line,
my
and I was
gosh.
shaking, and Slava was like trying to hold me, because I was
Yes, yes. What a moment though.
it was,
But like that's gonna, I mean, to start like that and then to be able to, I mean, because I know that this is not something that you're gonna just stop doing. You're gonna keep
No.
going and doing it. And so when you look back at that video and you see, I mean, that's gonna be incredible.
but then something else happened.
Okay.
I watched some of the videos from me dancing in Ohio, and that's another wave of emotions.
Mhm.
And I called my coach about it, and I asked him, why did I win?
Mm.
I should not have won.
Why do you say
because
that?
I was terrible.
You felt like there were other people on the floor that were better than you.
I didn't look at other people, but I was terrible, and I was like, that was not worth 1st place for Ohio.
Interesting.
So they had to have that whole conversation with me. And they were
Yes.
like, you're a perfectionist. And I'm like, but this is terrible. Like, why is this 1st place? Like, and so I could not wait
Because
to
they're
get
not
back.
competing. You're not competing against the perfect version of yourself. You're competing against other people.
But I compete against myself.
For sure, but if there's no one else on the floor that looks better than you, then you know what I'm saying? They're not going that's the place
Yeah.
that you have. So I get what you're saying. So have you always been this
Perfectionist.
perfect? Yes. So I am too. Hi, nice to meet you. You'll get your welcome packet in the mail.
I need some pointers, please. Because
Oh, listen. We call this the Recovering Perfectionist Podcast, but truthfully, the recovering part is ongoing. It is when you are, I know where it stemmed from me. I grew up in a performing family, performing arts family. We were like, our dad was like, hey, we grew up in a dance studio. We're like, all right, you're going on tonight. What dance are we doing? I don't know. We'll figure it out. Like, you kind of, the show must go on becomes your mantra. Where did it start for you? Why do you feel that you have this need to achieve, or this feeling that because perfectionism, as we know, it strives from a feeling of never feeling like you're enough. Like, we're just under the bar, right? But truthfully, you're enough, right? I mean, you have a wonderful husband.
Yes.
You have 2 beautiful
but that's,
children.
that's my private life. That's different.
It is, but so your perfectionism doesn't travel it, because it travels for me into my private life sometimes. No,
I
it
don't-
doesn't.
I
Okay.
don't. I've never actually thought about it that way.
Okay.
Interesting.
Interesting.
Now you're giving me something to think about.
No, and I don't want.
No,
but I
no,
mean,
no.
in the sense that for me is, how they say is the way you do one thing is the way you do all things. A lot of time, right?
Yeah.
And so I am not as perfectionist maybe in my private life as I am when you're in a professional
Yes.
setting, and everything needs to work out, and everything needs to you're showing yourself to the world.
Yes.
You don't want to feel a certain way. But truthfully, like when I think about it, yeah, I like my house to look a certain way.
Well, sure.
Yeah, I like this to be a certain way, and I'm
course.
like very meticulous about this.
Yeah, I like my husband to look a certain way.
There you go. Perfect example.
When he wears like sneakers in the house that I don't like because he went running again.
Right? When my husband and I go out even just to a holiday party, they're like, oh, you guys are way too dressed up. And we're like, no, this is just who we are.
This is who we are, yes.
Right? And so we're not trying to be someone else.
Yeah.
It's just who we are. So, but all that to say is that I also grew up in this industry. And this industry, I have said that many times on the podcast, that it breeds perfection. Because you're constantly being judged.
Judged, yes.
Always. And so, and any industry, gymnastics, Olympians, high performing athletics, you are constantly have your eyes on you, and judges are looking at you, or coaches are looking at you to say, are you doing enough?
Correct.
And then you put that pressure on yourself and all those things. So all those
We're
feelings.
good at that,
Yeah. So what I love, I was getting chills, like I felt like I was in your story, is when you're going on and you said, I'm just following Slava, and he told me to go back on the floor, and I'm doing it again, and I don't even know, you didn't even know you were in the finals. So you're like, I'm just dancing and I'm doing what I need to do.
Yeah.
That is, I don't know if you've ever seen the F1 movie, the Formula One movie with Brad Pitt. He's in the car, and he said, I just want to be, he goes, when I'm in the flow state, I just want to be flying.
Yes.
And you just see him, and he goes, no one's in front of me, no one's behind me, and you see him just in his, and that is what he's always trying to achieve.
That's kind of how
That's how it felt like.
Yes.
When you said that, I was like, oh my God, that's like the flow state. Like, we all are striving to achieve that. And we all kind of know, deep down inside, I don't think we all want to say it, but we all kind of know that, like, it's because we know too much that sometimes we can't achieve that flow state.
Makes sense.
Because we're just so hyper focused on all the things, whether it be the judge or the color of the dress or my competitors in the same heat as me, or I didn't like this song or whatever, and everything becomes so anxiety driven that flow state can't come when you're like that. And so for you to feel like we're doing it and we're in the final and we're this or that.
Actually, it's funny that you mentioned it because that hit me too when I saw one of my judges.
Yeah.
I don't know if I told you.
No.
But one of my judges in Ohio was Anna.
And
And when I saw her, which I didn't expect, because for some reason I didn't think she would be judging like my category. I think she's judging the pros.
Right.
And I see her, and at this point I'm like, what do I do? What do I do? Like, how do I act? Like, oh my God, like.
Because this is someone that you also very much admire and have watched her videos.
But also train with.
Oh, yes.
And so now I'm thinking of all the things that Anna has told me, like, do this, do this, do this. I'm like, now I'm trying to remember, and they're calling my number, and I'm like, oh my God.
Yes.
And judges, from my experience so far, they don't smile.
No.
They have to be,
right, very
neutral.
Totally.
And so now she's not smiling, and I'm not used to that.
Oh my God,
and so
you're like, oh my God,
yes.
she hates me.
So we had, at one point, when we had like split judging, and we had like this very small space to dance, and all the judges line up, and Slava, the way he turned me, I think I was in like a cha-cha, I turn around right into her.
Oh my gosh.
We were so close.
Yeah.
And she just looks at me, does her job, and I'm like, what do I
Yeah, it's so
like,
disorienting.
It's disorienting, and I don't know how to deal with that yet. So that was a great experience. So I had to look over her and fake smile.
You're really getting like all the experiences at once.
Yes.
It's crazy.
And I talked to her about it after, and I was like, I didn't know, how to deal with that. She did teach me one move, and she goes, well, I did see that you did my move. And I'm like, I did. But she said, listen, it's a great experience for you.
Yes.
Because you will be training with some coaches that also will be judging you.
Absolutely.
So
that happens a lot.
And it was a great experience to have that so early on.
Yes. Especially with someone as kind as her. Like I'm sure that was, she made it a very easy experience to understand. This is incredible. So we're here at the Holiday Dance Classic. Third competition.
Yes.
So exciting. Yes. You got in
4:00, straight to the ballroom.
Straight to the
in the morning.
Like, you flew in, you go straight to the ballroom, you're practicing. Do you believe that do you think that all of your extra practicing, like you said, for every 1 hour and all the things, do you think that has led to some of the success that you're having?
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. It seems like an obvious question.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
I don't think it's obvious for everyone.
I don't think it's obvious for everyone.
No,
I agree, and that's
not.
why I'm glad. That's why I wanted to ask.
I think people, and that's just with everything, not just with dancing. I think with everything, people see the end results and think, oh, I can do that too, or how come I cannot do that?
Right.
But when you don't see what's happening behind the scenes, the hours you put in, the stress, maybe, the moments where you have bad days and when you start doubting yourself and you have to overcome and just get up and say, okay, going back to the studio, we're gonna, get it done.
Right.
When people don't see that, it's easy to say like, oh, that wasn't that hard, or how come I cannot do it?
Right.
And that's like part of why I'm showing, and I'm trying to be honest with good, the bad, and everything I experience on social media. I want people to see what happens behind the scenes too.
Yeah.
That this is the most beautiful sport out there, but it's one of the most challenging things, physically, mentally, but physically, oh my god.
Yeah.
And the other reason why I'm doing it is because I want people to understand that if I can do it, your average girl, that means everyone can do it.
Right.
You have to truly want it and work for it. Nobody's going to give you anything in a silver platter.
No, I agree.
So, and I hope, and I see a lot of now people reaching out, and they've even asked me for, I don't know if I can mention this, but people have asked me for like get-togethers, and if, will you be organizing something where we can meet you besides like on a dance floor,
wow.
or like a little like camp kind of thing, or like tutorials. And so I said, listen, obviously I cannot give tutorials because I'm not in that place yet, but I talked to Slava and we have some idea for next year.
I love that. Well, and it's also, here's what I'm like, my brain is automatically going to, you're creating a space on the internet for right now where you're holding space for other people.
Yeah.
And you're also showing them, you're peeling back the curtain. And so there's people doing that on social media. That's not, that's kind of the age we're in right now, but no one's really done it in our industry because a lot of people are afraid to show that, because some of them are still competing and they don't want to, have, certain opinions about certain things because it could hinder their results and different things. It gets a little tricky in our industry with some of those politics, but that's what's so beautiful about you is you're coming in here, you're like, I have nothing to lose. I have only anything to gain because I'm really just participating in the industry from the start.
Yeah. I see what you just mentioned. I see a lot of comments, but a lot of DMs. People saying, you're so brave to say this. I'm not brave enough to say this.
What?
I'm not brave enough. And I'm like, I haven't even said anything yet.
Right.
Except
you're like, you don't even know the half of it.
Except like the video that I did that a lot of people loved. Some people didn't like about the coaches, like Coach 1 and Coach 2.
Yes.
I had to look at who loved the video, who shared it, and who posted it, like Shirley Ballas.
Yes.
And other incredible top pros. And I'm like, and then the people who gave me less than friendly comments back about it. And I'm like, yeah, no, I think I'm right. Never mind.
But you know what is interesting?
But
I love that. I love that there's a diversity there because I think, I used to have a podcast before the Recovering Perfectionist called Today Over Tea. And we would it was all about discussing the tea, right? In the sense of difficult conversations. And this happened, I was filming this, it happened during COVID, when there was a lot of the Black Lives Matter movements and all those things that got very controversial. I ended up doing a podcast episode on Black Lives Matter. And I'm thinking, who is going to listen to this little white girl talk about Black Lives, right? So I had a friend of mine come in who was teaching Black studies, cultural studies at a college, and I said, can we just have this conversation just like we do off camera, but let's do it on camera. I've never been nervous for anything before, besides it was crazy, but we talked about sex, we talked about religion, we talked about all the things that everyone says not to talk about. And that's the thing I think that hurts me the most about our industry is there are a lot of things that people talk about behind the scenes that they're afraid to talk about in front for obvious reasons, right? I've definitely been fallen victim to that as well. But how are we ever going to grow and fix those problems if we don't actually discuss it?
That's why I come in.
Right. But that's what I get is I'm thinking like, we have to talk about some of this stuff. So and you're getting it on the side of like, you're talking about some of the politics, you're talking about some of the judging and some of the how competitions are set up, all these different things, because you're seeing it from a very unbiased perspective. Fresh eyes.
Yes.
We're coming at it from a wellness perspective, right? We see all of these dancers burning themselves out, having competition withdrawal, jet lag, trying to make money as a professional, trying to make top Ohio as an amateur, trying to do all these things, right? Have a studio run. What do I do after I retire? My identity is all gone. What if I'm not a dancer? Who am I? Right? There's all these pieces to it. And there isn't a lot of support in our industry for that, which is really sad. So I thought at this point, my brother and I started when we were really young, and we saw a lot of these things happening, and a lot of our friends competing. We were like, oh, that just seems like so much stress. Like, we were fine with the work part.
Mm-hmm.
We went off in different industries, and we worked just as hard in those industries. But we were like, gosh, it feels like they're not getting the reward that their work is. You know, it doesn't feel one-to-one. And had we had things like recovery lounges at the competitions and financial support and education on investing and mental health, right? Help with mental, all of that, I definitely think that people would be able to have some more sustainability and longevity. That's the biggest part we're trying to create here, right? Everyone's always saying, how can I stay in this industry as long as possible, right? Because it's a very short lifespan for a professional dancer. And then on top of that, but then you see the pro-ams and they're starting at like 40, 50.
Yes.
And I have a student that's dancing with me this weekend. He's 87 years old and he's crushing it. He's in his age category. He's having the time of his life. Like you said, the dream is never dead for anybody. If you really want to do this, you can do this. He's dancing with 3 women this weekend. It's phenomenal. He's doing show dances. He's got all kinds of fun things.
But I think there's maybe a difference, and that's where I feel like I'm kind of in between.
Yeah.
There's probably a difference between pro-am dancer and a professional dancer. So some of the pros that I know, like you said, you know, they trying to run a studio, attracting new business, new people, new students, new pro-am students.
Constantly marketing.
While some of them are still competing themselves, or they're competing with their students, constantly flying, traveling, trying to still attract more business so they can, pay for their livelihood and their families, the normal thing. So there's a lot of stress there. Whereas pro-am people, I think people like myself, coming into this in their 30s, 40s, some 50s, or they have a job, or they have a career, or they're already retired, so they don't have all that stress.
No.
They don't also.
This is their safe space. This is their hobby. Their home away from home.
It's something that makes them feel good, and
100%.
I think maybe they don't also stress as much. And how do I say it? I feel. And that's like the delusional part of me, where I came into this so late, as a pro-am, but I'm kind of on the pro side.
Yeah, you want to be a pro. Yeah.
And my coaches know that because
you've mentioned that, and I think that's
he also someone asked, why is Nina? She just finished a round. Why in studio? I was like, why is she so sweaty? Like, because I would like to do what she does, because I think that studio was like standard.
Yeah.
Or rhythm. I don't remember. I would like to do what she does, but I'm not sure if I can do it. But like, she's always sweating, and I heard him say, she's like, well, Nina trains like a pro. She's here 5-6 hours a day. She's here 6 days a week, and I have to kick her out on Sunday. And so I feel like that. Seriously, that Sunday's the only time, because I have access to the studio at any time that I want.
Yes.
But I'm not allowed to come in on Sunday because they will know that I use the key. But yeah, that's my recovery day. So I'm kind of like the in between.
Yes.
I expect a lot. I train a lot, and I want to train more.
It's admirable.
So
and it's beautiful, and I'm excited for where your journey. Like I'm excited to be a part of your journey from the start, from where you did your first competition and we were able to talk to you, and because we just so happened to be at that competition together, which was a perfect timing, and for us to be able to see you at all of these events and talk about it, I want to be able to, because now you have so many eyes on you on social media, right? And you're growing.
Someone said that to me today.
Yeah.
I'm like, why? Who has eyes on me?
Well, in a good way. No, in a good way. I'm saying like you're showing the journey. Yeah. It's things that people are curious about, all of these things that you're discussing that have not been discussed or have not been shown a peek behind the curtain. They're just seeing these incredibly highly overproduced videos that are stunning.
Yes.
Because I have friends of mine, we produce those videos. It's amazing. But then it's like the work that it takes to get that result, not just from the dancer, but also from the production value behind the scenes and all of the things in between, is never really shown, because it's a whole other thing to show, right? And some people don't want to show it because they're like, well, we want to show you the end result because it's so spectacular.
I often get comments, DMs, like today I had like 6 comments like that saying, you have so much courage. I'm like, what do you mean courage? Like, why? Oh, because you don't you're okay with like showing yourself as you're on this like learning curve and you're learning the steps. And you know, we just started the Paso. I did it in 2 lessons and I posted it. I'm like, whatever. It is what it is, right? And people are like, you're so courageous that you're like able to put it on, like, because it's not perfect and it's obviously.
So there you go.
But
you don't always have to look perfect.
No, because my whole point with social media is that I want to show people
the journey.
I know. Like from
but
putting on
that's
my shoes
imperfect.
the first time.
And that's how it should be. You're not going to be perfect at the beginning. In fact, perfection doesn't exist. So even when you get to, yes, we look at Nino and we say, that's perfect. That's what perfection looks like. But truthfully, when Nino looks at Nino, what does she think is the bigger question. Because it doesn't matter what we think. It matters what she thinks about herself. And and it's important that she doesn't think that she's less than, that she sees the brilliance that we see, but we are our hardest and toughest critics.
Yep.
And so, you know, I think the lesson here, I think what's so interesting is you're going to learn so much about yourself through this journey of perfectionism as well, and being like, you know what? The things that you posted that you were like, this was the best video I could have ever posted, and maybe that one doesn't get as many views as the one that you do in the Paso 2 days later.
Yes.
Right? Because people are related to this one more.
Yes. You know, the funny thing is I have current pro dancers reaching out and like saying something to one of my videos, for example. And I would ask them like, you liked it, why did you like it? And the answer has been so far, I can so relate to this. And I'm like, but you're all the way up here, you're pro. How do you relate? And they were like, well, because we're either going through this still, or, you know, we went through it when we started and we can still remember it. And to hear that some of my content is relatable to pros. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, we all had to start with step 1. Yeah. No one came out, you know, being born and said, I already know how to do a cha-cha, right? Now I will say, because you know my brother is the one in our family that really like he just came out dancing, right? But even then, you know, he still needed to learn the steps. It just some people maybe have a knack for it, you know, and the other people like us we put the work in because it doesn't come easy.
No, it does.
But
I love it. I love that grind at the studio, and I love having like blisters and my big toes being completely messed up. I love it. No, it's crazy, but
you may be the only one that feels that way. I don't know if I can relate to the blisters.
No, I have like blisters here.
I hear you.
From all the,
Yeah, we often I get pedicures regularly so that I can, make sure my feet stay healthy.
I love it. That means I've worked.
Yes. That's the thing. It's the symbolism of it all. It symbolizes that you're really putting the work in the studio, and that's really important. So you're dancing tomorrow?
Yes.
All right, and I'm not even going to ask if you're ready. Like, that's not, I hate those questions.
I'm not ready.
Because, but you're going to go out there and you're going to feel, first of all,
did I just tell you that I had to learn the Paso in 2 lessons?
In 2 lessons?
In 2 hours, and I'm competing tomorrow in Paso.
So this is the first time you're doing Paso this weekend?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Interesting.
So, fingers crossed I can at least remember the steps.
Paso is a performance dance.
Yeah.
It's all about the show.
Okay.
The steps are
it's
not really that much of
Make it a show tomorrow, Nina.
Yeah, it's a big show.
You know what I've been doing at home for last week?
Olé.
Sorry. I'm getting
your husband in the corner.
In the mood and
I love
energy.
it. I love it. It's so great.
He's a samba guy.
Oh yes.
We actually
with our
AirPods yesterday at the airport. Yesterday evening, we were listening to some of my practice music. And we were dancing at the airport, and I'm like, I swear to God, someone's recording us right now. They're gonna post it on social media, on TikTok.
He said, "Let's go."
And I'm gonna find my face somewhere.
So that is something that comes along when you get bitten by the dance bug. Is anytime you hear music anywhere in public, you now feel the urge to dance. My student and I were at a farmer's market the other day. He took my bag, put it down on the ground, and there was a live band playing, and he just started doing West Coast Swing with me. And
there was a live band. How do you explain me food shopping doing a Roomba walk?
Because you hear the music. My dad and I have also danced in a grocery store, by the way. It's phenomenal. No, I mean seriously, we move through the world differently. That's what you're understanding now. This is the transformation caterpillar butterfly thing that's happening right now. You are experiencing that dancers move through the world we just move through space differently. We walk through the airport differently. You have a different, and it's not just confidence. It's just the way your body starts to take on that muscle memory,
Yeah.
right?
Roll.
You can't be in a studio for 5 to 6 hours a day
And
and
not
not start
have that-
walking
no,
differently.
no.
I mean, you're training your
Yes.
body to do something different, and that is, it's fantastic. I
Yeah.
think that when we show up, a lot of people, they see us already with a physical confidence because we stand up straight and we walk with our feet open
Yep.
and not in, and there's just a lot of different pieces
Even my
to the
back
puzzle.
muscles are engaged right now.
Yes, she said in this interview.
In this interview,
I love
my
it.
back muscles are pushing me into the floor.
That's it. That's
But you're
so
right.
great.
It's completely taken over everything. My whole life, my
Yeah.
existence, my everything. It's the most beautiful thing.
Well, I am just so excited that you, not just for you to go through it and join this beautiful world, but that you're documenting it. That's my favorite part. That's honestly what attracted me to you in the first place. The fact that you're documenting it is creating such a relatability. Like you said, even a professional dancer that you're like, how can they relate to me?
Yeah.
Everyone had to start where you're at. And so they're reminiscing. It's nostalgic for some professionals to be like, oh my gosh, I remember
those days. They tell me
Yes.
that I remember this, or I remember this
Totally.
feeling, or I remember this pain that you're feeling right now.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So,
And so that's really, I'm sure that's really promising for you because you see them and you're like, well, that's great because if you were here once too, that means I could be there. And what a beautiful space
It
to
is.
see your journey unfold. I'm so excited for you. We are going to keep following your journey. This is very, very exciting. We are very excited also to have you in our inner circle with the dance wellness community. We are going to be sharing so many new things. We're going to have some recovery lounges at the competitions next year, and we're just providing so many amazing resources. And what I love about what you're experiencing is you are actually starting to see the gaps in where there's not support where it's needed. What do you feel has been the biggest need since you've started this journey?
again, I think there's a difference for programmers and pros or
Oh, for sure there is.
or amateurs. You know, like they're training for
Yes.
pro. The biggest gap for whom?
Well, so the way that we help, you're right, the professionals and the amateurs are
I think
completely
there's
different.
different, yeah.
The amateurs, we're helping them acclimate to this new industry, right? Understanding what spray tan to wear, right?
Yes,
Just
yes, yes,
down
yes,
to the
yes.
dress and where, how to maintain your stamina before and after, what
Yes.
you should eat for breakfast on
Yes.
competition day versus on a practice day, those kinds of things. And keeping your mental straight when you don't get the result you're looking for, right? Maintaining that expectation. But with professionals, it's their business.
Yeah.
This is their livelihood. This is how they feed their family. So it's a matter of making sure they create longevity in this career. So we have tools and resources for that. Financial investing to when you are when you're in your prime and you have a lot of students, you're making good money, or you have a studio that's running well. How do we take some of that money and do something with it so that you can protect yourself in the future? If a professional has an injury, how do they continue? There's a lot riding on them being physically
And that's
mentally
healthy.
healthy.
Yeah, and so that's why I separate pros from pro at this point.
So for you, you are in the pro-am category.
Yeah.
So what do you feel, maybe you've been to a few competitions now, you've been practicing, you've been in a studio. What do you feel that maybe there's something that you expected to be here that maybe isn't? Or something that you were like, no, this is good that this is here?
I don't think I was expecting anything but what I have experienced for me personally. And that was just purely because I started social media.
Yeah.
And I started through social media connecting with pros and people that are currently competing in the US and in Europe.
Which is also very different.
And so especially those that are still competing, when they reach out to me, they see my reel and they think it's funny or relatable, and we start talking. I had one not long ago and we talked for 2 days.
Oh, wow.
For 2 full days. And for me, I have a lot of my own insecurities because I'm a perfectionist and I want it to be perfect, and I know it's not perfect. I also know it cannot be perfect at this point.
Yeah.
And so I drill and I work and I study moves. I try to study the music. I do so much. And having people that are currently competing or pros or that maybe just retired that are just so fresh to talk to. Yeah. That I think is important, especially for
open
pro-amers.
conversation.
Yes. especially for programmers that are taking it maybe, I don't want to say more seriously, but they have bigger, like maybe goals.
Yeah.
Rather than I just want to compete because I just like to compete once a year because it's giving me good feelings. But people that I want to compete seriously, travel all the US, maybe go to Asia, compete there, maybe like, and they treat this as a sport, to have someone who's all the way up there to talk to and ask questions, especially when it comes to like, you know, when you start dealing with emotional things, like, am I good enough? Can I do this? You know, I feel down after this competition.
Yeah,
what
because
is this?
that, unfortunately, I hate to say this to you, because that unbiased bubble that you're in, that you experienced at Ohio, the goal, don't forget that feeling, write it down, because that goal, that's the goal every time, that flow state. But as you get more competitive and as you get more attached to what it is you're trying to accomplish, sometimes that flow state doesn't always hit because you're so attached to it and you want it so badly. And you start to see where you could make the difference, and you're like, oh, but I can do this and I can do this, and then that's where the perfectionism comes in. But yes, I agree, those open conversations, the holding of the space.
Yes.
So
it's like having, you know, I was, when I was in law school, but when I became an attorney as well, I was a mentor for younger law students or younger attorneys. And to me, this feels like, and they had a lot of, you know, questions, but also they had moments where they felt down, like, I can't do it anymore, I don't want to do it, this is too hard. To have someone to talk to, because I used to have that person. I remember how much it helped, and so I wanted to help, and so I became a mentor. And so now I'm back in a baby shoes kind of position. And so when I have all these questions and I know what's happening, it would be great to have like a community of professionals that you can talk to. Like, and they can tell you, like ambassadors. That they can tell you, like, hey, this is okay. I went through this. Oh, you're doing the lock step for like 3 months now? Oh, it took me like a year before it even started looking like a lock. You know, like things like that. That you don't think like, am I crazy? Like, am I not good enough? You know, when you're a perfectionist, you start having a lot of these questions. And so whenever I have randomly some of these pros reach out to me, either because I said something or they saw a video and we started talking, after that I feel like this crazy energy. I'm like, okay, let's go. I get like,
I feel it.
Like you get like fuel from that. Because they don't judge. They don't say anything bad.
No,
because
exactly.
They've been there.
And they know what you're feeling. Yes, absolutely. I love that. That's a great.
So I think that would be a great thing for pro-am at least. For pros, let me think about it because I have some ideas.
Okay.
That's more in the business side, the lawyer
side.
Yes. So I'm working on that.
I love that. Well, listen, thank you so much.
Thank you. Where am I going to see you again? And where?
Oh my gosh, I don't know. We have so many comps that we're at. I know. I feel like we're just going to run into each other.
Are you going to be in New York? By the way, I'm competing in New York.
Yes, possibly. We're going to possibly do a recovery lounge over there.
Okay, awesome. That's going to be my birthday.
You're
on
competing
my birthday.
in New York.
Yes,
That's going to be so great with Eugene and Maria. Yes. Wonderful competition.
I'm excited.
Yeah, we were actually just talking to Max because he's bringing, he's Brooklyn Dance Sport here and all that. So yes, Eugene and Maria are, legends.
Can't
in
wait.
their industry.
Can't wait.
Yeah.
So I'll be turning 42.
Woo!
At a competition.
That's
so I'm
amazing.
excited.
What a great way to start. Oh, right. Seriously. Yes. Well, guys, thank you so much for being here. Nina is on this incredible journey, and she has blessed us by sharing it all with us. It's very exciting. I don't think that you're brave for sharing this. I think that you are being exactly who you need to be. I think if we could all be more vulnerable, I don't think courage comes into it. I think it's a vulnerability that a lot of people can't have with themselves, and myself included. I'm not trying to stand on a tower or anything. I'm saying, like, it is so hard to have vulnerability with yourself, let alone with other people, because you don't want them to see your weaknesses. And what I think a lot of people need to realize, including myself, is that those are not weaknesses. No. They're actually the strengths.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And I think our industry doesn't necessarily favor those things as strengths, because we are trying to be no hair out of place, perfect skin, perfect dress, perfect this. And there is something to be said about that. I mean, there's no other feeling like walking out onto the stage, feeling like Beyonce. like everything is perfect. That is an incredible feeling. However, I think that, there's something to be said about when you take all the makeup off and the eyelashes and the shoes and the sparkles, that that person underneath all of that is also as amazing as a superstar as the person who walked on the floor. And I think that's what we're trying to, get here, because I think you also feel that way too, is that person that's, sitting on your couch watching Netflix, eating popcorn with the sweats and t-shirt. We've all been there, right? That person is also just as worthy and just as important as the person when you're in your prime. Yes. So it's a balance.
It is, and I'm learning how to balance.
That's it. In the 3-inch shoes.
Yes, I do. But it's the best.
I love it. Thank you so much. You're the best. Oh,
it's so nice to see you.
I know.
And it's so true. I feel like I've known you for so long. I don't know why.
I feel the same way. I mean, there's just a synergy there. There's an authenticity to what you do and who you are. Not just that you're bringing it to this. I can see that this is just who you are in every part of your life, and that is extremely contagious, and it's attractive to be around. So congratulations on everything. We have so much more that you're going to see from Nina. This is just the tip of the iceberg, and we have so many more things coming to you. Stay tuned. We will see you guys very soon. Bye.